While most farmers struggle to make ends meet, some people are quietly making six figures from tiny plots. They don't grow corn or wheat or anything you're familiar with. They grow plants that most people have never even heard of. Some of these plants sell for $80 a pound. Others are literally weeds that people throw away every day. Entire industries are desperate for them and can't find enough suppliers. The reason is not land, money, or luck, but knowledge. Knowledge that has been hidden in plain sight for decades. Once you see this, you can't help but notice the opportunity. Today, I'm revealing 14 of the most profitable plants you've probably never heard of. The average net income per acre for a farmer when growing cash crops such as corn is often less than $200, according to the USDA. Meanwhile, specialty grasses can bring in upwards of $10,000 per acre, according to ATRA reports. In North Carolina, a farmer named James McCartney switched from tobacco to ashwagandha 3 years ago. His 5-acre tract now produces more profit than his previous 50 acres of tobacco plantation ever produced in an entire season. Additionally, while traditional farmers struggle with commodity crop price volatility, niche growers are enjoying stable demand. The market for adaptogens, according to research company Grandview Research, will exceed $20 billion by 2030. However, most farmers do not even know that these opportunities exist. Agricultural colleges don't teach courses on ashwagandha or gotu kola, and banks don't finance projects they don't understand. History shows us that the most valuable cultures have always required overcoming barriers of knowledge. Vanilla became one of the most expensive crops in the world only after a 12-year-old slave named Edmund Albius discovered the technique of hand pollination in 1841. Before this discovery, vanilla could only grow in Mexico, where natural pollinators lived. One change in technology turned an exotic rarity into a global industry worth billions of dollars. Today, we see a similar situation with adaptogenic herbs and specialty plants. The knowledge exists, the markets are hungry, but the connection between producers and consumers remains broken. Moreover, barriers to entry are much lower than in traditional agriculture. You don't need hundreds of acres or millions of dollars of equipment to grow plants that cost $50 a pound. Moreover, globalization has created a unique opportunity. Consumers in developed countries are willing to pay premium prices for locally grown versions of plants that were traditionally imported. Ashwagandha or Withania sleeping pills is experiencing an explosion in popularity in the dietary supplement industry. The dried root sells for between $25 and $60 per pound, and the bulk is still imported from India. The National Institutes of Health published randomized trials showing significant reductions in cortisol levels in participants taking ashwagandha. This scientific confirmation of the ancient knowledge of Ayurveda has created confidence among skeptical Western consumers. A supplement company in California said they couldn't find enough quality locally produced ashwagandha. Imported products often contain impurities, and shipping costs and customs delays create supply chain problems. However, ashwagandha grows well in temperate climates as a perennial plant. After the first year of planting, it continues to produce roots year after year with minimal maintenance. Believe it or not, 1 pound of high-quality organic ashwagandha root can cost more than the average American makes in a day. Centella asiatica, or gotu kola, occupies a unique position at the intersection of two massive billion-dollar markets. Dried leaves sell for $30 to $60 per pound due to demand in both the cognitive enhancement and skincare industries. The Journal of Ethnopharmacology published studies demonstrating the ability of gotu kola to stimulate collagen synthesis. The Korean cosmetics industry immediately incorporated this ingredient into K-beauty product formulas, leading to a global shortage of quality raw materials. At the same time, the nootropics market is booming among university students and technology company workers. Gotu kola is marketed as a natural memory and concentration enhancer without the side effects of synthetic stimulants. As a result, producers face a rare situation. If one market temporarily weakens, the second will compensate for the drop in demand. This stability makes gotu kola particularly attractive for long-term investment. Moreover, the plant is a perennial that can be harvested several times a season in warm conditions or greenhouses. Sichuan pepper creates a unique tingling sensation on the tongue that is absolutely essential for authentic Sichuan cuisine. Xanthoxylum sells for $40 to $80 a pound because there is no substitute for the flavor. From 1968 to 2005, Sichuan pepper was completely banned in the United States due to fears of the spread of citrus canker. This 37-year restriction created long-term gaps in the supply chain that have yet to be repaired. Meanwhile, Sichuan cuisine is enjoying its moment of glory in American fine dining restaurants. Chefs are willing to pay premium prices for fresh, quality Sichuan pepper, but domestic production is virtually non-existent. Moreover, the plant grows well in temperate climates and does not require special growing conditions. The main challenge is proper processing and drying to preserve the active compounds. Just imagine, a spice that was banned for a generation now costs more per ounce than many precious metals. Holy basil or tulsi has played a central role in Hindu homes for over 3,000 years and is mentioned in the ancient Ayurvedic text Karaka Samhita. Today, Ocimum sanctum sells for $20 to $45 per pound of dried leaves, thanks to explosive demand from the wellness industry and tea companies. Global tea brands are suddenly discovering tulsi as a key ingredient in adaptogenic blends. Organic India has reported a 300% increase in sales of tulsi teas over the past 5 years in the U.S. market alone. Modern consumers are looking for spiritual connection through consumer products, and tulsi fits perfectly into this trend. The plant is marketed as both a sacred herb with a 1,000-year history and a scientifically proven adaptogen for combating stress. In addition, tulsi is easily grown in warm climates or greenhouses, allowing for multiple harvests per season. Once established, the plants require minimal care, but continue to produce premium quality leaves. The result is a renewable money culture that serves both ancient traditions and modern markets with serious profit. Moringa oleifera has earned the name miracle tree due to its incredible growth rate and exceptional nutritional value of its leaves. Dried leaves sell for $20 to $40 per pound, and demand from the health and wellness industry is growing exponentially. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has recognized moringa as a climate-resilient crop with protein content comparable to eggs gram for gram. This scientific recognition has turned what was once considered an exotic tree into a serious solution to nutritional problems. In Malawi, anti-malnutrition programs use moringa powder to restore the health of children, adding humanitarian weight to the plant's commercial value. The tree can grow 15 feet in the first year and produce leaves several times a season. However, most moringa is still imported, creating a massive opportunity for domestic producers to capture market share. Quality issues and shipping costs for imported products leave room for a premium local offering. You are literally planting a tree that is printing money, waiting for you to discover it. Stevia rebaudiana has been at the center of a massive consumer shift away from both sugar and artificial sweeteners. The leaves sell for $20 to $40 per pound, and the market is worth billions of dollars due to the unique sweetness of 200 to 300 times that of sugar with 0 calories. The Guarani tribe in Paraguay used stevia for centuries before its commercialization in Japan in the 1970s. This story of rediscovery fits perfectly with the modern trend of returning to natural ingredients with an ancient history. Major beverage manufacturers actively include stevia in their formulas, but there is an entirely separate market for fresh or simply dried stevia leaves. This segment is intended for home use, tea production, and small-scale food production. However, stevia grows as a tender perennial in warm climates or as an annual in other regions. The process of collecting and drying leaves remains simple, and margins are solid. The wellness revolution has put natural sweeteners in the spotlight, and stevia is leading the category among diabetics, dieters, and anyone who simply wants healthier options. Purslane contains more omega-3 fatty acids than spinach and sells for $15 to $30 per pound in fine dining restaurants. With a slightly lemony, crunchy texture, this weed is undergoing a real transformation in the eyes of health-conscious consumers. The World Health Organization has recognized purslane as one of the most nutrient-dense plants on the planet. Research shows omega-3 content comparable to fish oil, turning what most gardeners throw away into a scientifically proven superfood. Farm-to-table restaurants and followers of the Mediterranean diet are discovering purslane at an incredible rate. Chefs appreciate its versatility. The leaves can be eaten raw in salads, added to soups, or used as a crunchy garnish. That being said, purslane grows like crazy with minimal care, turning something that most people spend time and energy removing from gardens into a potential cash crop. The nutritional profile justifies the premium price, and the market is expanding as more people discover its value. Modern wellness trends favor nutrient-rich foods, and purslane fits perfectly into this category. Ilex emetic is the only native North American plant that contains caffeine, and the dried leaves sell for $30 to $70 per pound. The Timucua tribes used yaupon in ceremonial practices, but colonial authorities suppressed its use due to its association with ritual rites. Yaupon produces a caffeinated tea with a mild flavor that does not cause the jitters that coffee causes in some people. Commercial cultivation is still in its infancy, which means massive opportunities for early market entrants. Consumer interest in tea alternatives is exploding, especially locally grown, sustainable products. Yaupon checks all of these boxes while remaining truly unique as America's only indigenous caffeinated beverage. Additionally, it is a perennial shrub that requires minimal maintenance once established. The leaves can be harvested several times a year, positioning the product as a premium local alternative to imported teas. Just imagine tea, which has waited centuries for America to rediscover its own caffeinated heritage, is now poised to become the next big thing in the beverage industry. Melissa officinalis has ridden the wellness wave in earnest, bringing serious money to manufacturers. This delicate lemongrass sells for $20 to $40 per pound of dried leaves, with a huge demand for stress relief and sleep support. The Journal of Phytomedicine published clinical studies showing decreased anxiety and improved sleep quality in participants who took lemon balm. This scientific validation of traditional use has created a market that includes both traditional herbalists and modern wellness consumers. Today's stress epidemic has created unprecedented demand for gentle, natural stress relief options. Melissa fits perfectly into this market without the side effects of pharmaceutical drugs, which makes it attractive to a wide audience of consumers. That said, lemon balm is incredibly easy to grow and spreads vigorously once established. It can be grown indoors or outdoors, and the leaves can be harvested several times per season. The result is a grass that proves that sometimes the easiest crops are the most profitable when you target the right markets with growing demand. Calendula officinalis is experiencing a renaissance in natural skincare, with dried flowers selling for $20 to $50 a pound. These cheerful orange flowers are used in creams, ointments, soaps, and oils, with demand from both commercial growers and small artisans. During World War I, calendula was used to heal battlefield wounds, adding historical weight to its modern use in the skincare industry. Modern research has confirmed the anti-inflammatory properties that military doctors knew a century ago. The clean beauty movement has created unprecedented demand for natural, effective ingredients within the $50 billion natural skincare market. Calendula is widely used in this industry without the side effects of synthetic alternatives. However, calendula is easy to grow and blooms profusely throughout the season. The flowers are harvested and carefully dried to preserve color and potency, and can be sold to multiple markets, from wholesale to growers to retail to artisans. Moreover, flowers are not traditional crops, which is why most farmers do not grow them. But the skincare industry does not care about agricultural traditions. Shiso or perilla leaf is experiencing an explosion in popularity with amazing profit potential. Perilla fructescens sells for $20 to $50 per pound, with particularly high demand from restaurants discovering this distinctive ingredient in Japanese and Korean cuisine. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has recorded a 300% increase in sushi consumption outside Japan over the past decade. This wave has created a demand for authentic ingredients, including shiso, which is essential for wrapping meats, marinating, and as a distinctive garnish. The flavor is complex, minty basil with unique notes that nothing else can replicate. Japanese and Korean restaurants are opening all over the place, and they all need shiso, but supply is extremely limited outside of specialty markets. At the same time, modern food culture is becoming increasingly global, and ingredients like shiso are riding this wave. What was exotic 5 years ago is becoming standard in upscale restaurants. Smart manufacturers are positioning themselves ahead of this curve, serving an expanding market of consumers craving authentic global flavors at premium prices. Culantro is often confused with cilantro, but Eryngium foetidum is much more valuable, selling for $15 to $30 per pound. This herb has a stronger, more intense flavor and is absolutely essential in sofrito, recaito, Thai curries, and Vietnamese pho, among countless other dishes. In areas of Miami with a large Latino community, demand for culantro consistently outstrips supply. Owners of ethnic markets report that shoppers come specifically for the culantro, but often leave empty-handed due to a lack of quality fresh produce. Traditional ethnic cuisines are becoming mainstream, and ingredients like culantro are following the trend. More people want authentic flavors, which means more people need culantro, but production hasn't kept up with demand. Additionally, the plant is easy to grow in warm climates or greenhouses, and the supply chain remains undeveloped, meaning premium prices for growers who can provide consistent quality. The result is an herb that proves you don't need mass appeal when you have passionate niche demand and little to no competition among local growers. Fenugreek offers something special: dual market appeal that creates business sustainability. Trigonella phenum graecum sells for $15 to $30 per pound, prized in both culinary and medicinal markets for a variety of uses. The seeds are essential in Indian, Middle Eastern, and Ethiopian cuisine, imparting a distinctive maple flavor to curry powders and traditional dishes. At the same time, the dietary supplement industry uses fenugreek for a variety of health applications, from supporting blood sugar levels to supporting lactation in nursing mothers. A clinical study published in the Journal of Diabetic Medicine supported the traditional use of fenugreek to regulate glucose levels. This scientific confirmation has expanded the market beyond traditional spice consumers to include health-conscious consumers. This dual need creates business resilience because you are not dependent on a single market. Restaurants and specialty companies want it, dietary supplement companies want it, the audience is diverse, and the total addressable market is large. That being said, this annual plant is relatively easy to grow, the seeds store well and are easily transported, and the per-pound price remains solid for both markets. High-quality catnip sells for $30 to $60 a pound, and Nepeta cataria is not just for cat toys. The pet products industry is worth billions of dollars and is willing to pay premium prices for quality catnip that actually works. The American Pet Products Association reports annual spending in excess of $130 billion in the pet industry. Behavioral studies explain how cats respond to nepetalactone, an active compound that produces a characteristic euphoric response in 70% of cats. Here's what most people don't understand. The quality of your catnip matters a lot. Premium organic fresh catnip commands much higher prices than the dusty stuff in cheap toys, and pet owners who love their cats will pay for the good stuff. Modern pet ownership treats animals like members of the family, which means premium products command premium prices. Quality catnip fits perfectly into this market with excellent profit margins. Catnip grows vigorously as a perennial, and you can target premium markets, natural pet supply stores, upscale pet stores, direct sales to consumers. The 14 plants we've looked at represent a fundamental shift in the way you can think about farming and wealth creation. Instead of competing in product markets with razor-thin margins, you serve premium markets where customers are actively seeking you out and are willing to pay premium prices. The concept of blue ocean markets from Woo-Chan Kim and René Mauborgne explains this opportunity, creating an uncontested market space that makes competition irrelevant. These specialized plants exist in precisely these undeniable niches. The beautiful part is that you don't need hundreds of acres, massive capital investments, or competition from industrial agriculture. Many of these plants can be grown in small spaces, in greenhouses, or even indoors. What you need is the knowledge you now have and the willingness to serve markets that others ignore. The difference between struggling farmers and those making six figures often comes down to choosing the right crops for the right markets. If you've read this far, you're now part of a small group of people gaining access to forbidden agricultural knowledge that could transform your financial future.